and welcome back to the channel, fool. Thanks for tapping in. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you like videos like this. Time shadow or real ghost?
Я в Лондоні, дивись, я в Лондоні. Оце шляпа куряча на голові. Я в Лондоні, дядя. Ти бачив це? Це Лондон, дядя. Кінг-Крос, центр, Лондон. Підписуйся.
That's either a foul move or pure raw talent.
These niggas got a portable heat out here so they can stand on a block. Yo, shit is crazy. Dude, I f***ing hard out with that. Dude.
And they definitely stole that too.
What you don't know is that the human race is being manipulated by a higher power that you can't see.
Is that the Archons?
Yeah, the Archons. Yeah.
And the Muslims call them the Jinn.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The jinn. There's human sacrifice in California, in Los Angeles. There's human sacrifice.
Have you heard that that is actually real?
Oh, God, yeah, of course. There's human sacrifice goes on continually in Hollywood. There's human sacrifice. Children are being sacrificed.
Why?
It's simple. It's very simple. Because if they are going to help you, they can help you. These spirits have powers and know knowledge and powers and technology you don't know anything about. And so if he gives me, if I make a deal with him, I'll give him my body and my life and my soul. If you will give to me what I want to be able to do what you do. I want to dazzle people with.
But why would you need to sacrifice another human or a child to gain that knowledge?
That's because it's always been that way in religion. Anytime you go to a god in any religion and ask for something that he would give you, he wants something back. And so it's always been that way. Why do all the races of the world have gods that they sacrifice to? It's like the mafia. It's like underworld organization.
Life itself is nothing but an exchange.
Friday beers. Sunday beers. Go Patriots.
Do it.
Oh my God! What? That just disappeared. Woo! 20 in the hole. Thank you. You're your best. Hey, victim. Oh, he's got foam with it too. He's gonna. Nate! Oh my God! How do you do that?
Oh, Nate.
Hey, that was a valiant effort. That was a good try. That was a 4 out of 10. He's like 10 beers in the hole already. Like,
I don't drink.
I knew it. I fucking knew it.
I prefer the Canadian.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen this guy on Friday beers.
Then you know what you're up against.
Oh!
How do you?
That bread?
Do it for the Mac.
Oh, he just fucking himself. Alright, so yeah.
If he drinks 15 beers a day, he could make 100K a year.
So I had a late start this Monday morning getting to work. What? Huh? What?
Now you've got a nice Jeep Wrangler. Hop in and enjoy the ride. Santa Monica only cares about parking tickets. Does Yoko Ono have a son we don't know about?
He was giving a lecture to his class when this happens. A college professor from Argentina was preparing to give his new class a lecture. But while he was recording a video, he noticed something strange happening in the background.
Hola, ¿cómo les va? Hoy vamos a hablar de niveles de conocimiento. ¿Bien? Hay 4 niveles de conocimiento. El primer nivel es la ignorancia, el segundo nivel es la estupidez, el tercer nivel es la inteligencia y el cuarto nivel es la sabiduría. ¿En qué se diferencia cada uno de estos 4 niveles? Vamos a charlar ahora para después cada uno de nosotros ver en qué nivel estamos. ¿Bien? Bien. El primer nivel es el nivel de la ignorancia. En este nivel la persona no tiene los recursos necesarios para lidiar con el desafío que se le propone.
As he's recording, his reflection in the background turns around and stares into the camera, as if it has a mind of its own. The professor explains he doesn't believe in the paranormal, but he has no way of explaining what he just captured on video.
Editing? Really hard to tell these days. He's low-key losing, but losing what?
Plans. But what we've got here, once again, as you can see in this area, you can see another mouse right there, and he runs away. I don't think he comes back.
You said space?
Dr. Clark, what is cancer exactly?
It's an attack by a parasite, an unusual parasite, which attempts to reproduce its intermediate stages in you. I have to somehow get the word out to the people who are suffering that there is a cure and that it isn't expensive, they can do it themselves, and they can be successful.
Think about detoxing your body. It's important.
Science has no way of explaining how Teresa of Avila's corpse refused to decompose and was investigated by doctors of that day. And then again in the 19th century, was dug up again, investigated by members of the medical school of the University of Salamanca, professors, still incorrupt. And now, 4 or 5 weeks ago, she's been dug up again.
Poor saints.
They're running whatever tests are available now that were not available in the late 19th century.
Right.
And one of the characteristics of Teresa's body is that she used oil. When it was flowing copiously, smelled wonderful, and performed healing miracles.
And that's real, guys.
It's what idiots are doing. There you go. There you go. Moron. Get out of there. You're both going to jail. You're both idiots. Exactly. Beating somebody with a bat Yeah, you're both you. Hold out the gun. I've seen it, Nick.
And they both got so emotional.
I just want to ask a question. You see like the phone, right? I just know. Okay, let me get a picture of your ID and everything. My name is I want to see your name. I want to see right there. Everything. Your name, right? Everything. 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 I want to see everything. So right now you're still there. We're looking outside. I want to see everything. That's fine. Everything. Okay, you will see it.
Are the people on the plane okay?
He authorized Sidney Gottlieb to spray germs into the fog in San Francisco harbor. The point was to try to infect 800,000 people in San Francisco with this germ just to see how many would get sick.
Yes, this is true, and to a lot of you, this should seem very familiar. In 1950, crew members of a U.S. Navy ship spent 6 days spraying a type of germ about 2 miles off of the California coast. Its aim was to determine the susceptibility of a big city like San Francisco to a potential bioweapon terrorist attack. In the following days, the military took samples and found that not only did it infect San Francisco, but also many of the surrounding areas. And when this happened, not a single person was made aware. Now, if you still aren't connecting the dots as to what I'm trying to say here, here is a patent that was made in 1920 for the production of intense artificial clouds, fogs, or mists. You can look all of this up yourself. I will put the patent number right here. I don't know about you, but this stuff is getting scarier and scarier, and I make sure to have something for myself and my family to be detoxing and supporting our bodies from whatever junk they are trying to spray us with.
And I've seen that fog somewhere.
It's teaching you the alchemical secret of how to ascend the oil. Here I have the emerald tablets of Thoth, of Hermes, Enoch. It's the shortest alchemical work with the most truth in it. And this is what it means. Truth, certainly. That which there is no doubt. That which is above is from that which is below. And that which is below is from that which is above. Working the miracles of one. As all things were from one. Its father is the sun, and its mother is the moon. Cerebrum, Sarah, Abram, Ra, Ra. The sun exalts in Aries, the moon exalts in Taurus. Gold, silver, king, queen. Its father is the sun, and its mother is the moon. Now what does that mean? The sun corresponds with the pineal gland in here, and the moon corresponds with the pituitary gland in here, in the third ventricle, attached to the optic thalamus. Joseph and Mary. The earth carried it in her belly. Here in Virgo, in the belly, is the solar plexus. The solar plexus is the place where the seed, the Christ, is born every month, when the moon transits your sun sign. And that psychophysical germ, if saved, will ascend the oil up your spine. And that oil was produced from the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, the sun and the moon. The earth carried it in her belly, and the wind nourished it in her belly as earth which shall become fire. It ascends from the earth to the heaven and becomes ruler over that which is above and that which is below. That's it.
Sacred knowledge. Rewind and listen again.
Imagine seeing dozens of strangers partying inside your home and some stealing your stuff, and there's nothing you can do to stop them. That's what happened to Charlie Brem when he rented his home on Airbnb.
Obviously, everybody's having a great time
drinking my liquor?
He thought he was renting to a nice family while he was on a trip to Boston. But a neighbor texted him that there was a loud party going on. He checked his security cameras, and this is what he saw 2,600 miles away at his home in Tempe, Arizona. He texted the renter, "What's going on at my home?" The reply, "It's a little family get-together. It's not a party." Charlie asked the police to shut the party down. But because he couldn't prove he was the homeowner, all they could do was issue a citation. Finally, at 2:30 a.m., the party was winding down. Charlie watched helplessly as partygoer after partygoer walked out with his clothes and other belongings. This is the mess they left behind. Trashed rooms, ruined furniture, stained floors and carpets, ransacked closets.
All my cool stuff is now gone. They took like a bottle of red wine straight out and just dropped. You just see it, just red wine all over. It looks like they've tried to remove the TV from the wall.
It turned out the Airbnb renter used an obviously phony name, Jason Bourne. Yep, that Jason Bourne, the fictional character played by Matt Damon. Charlie says it could be a long time before he rents his house to strangers.
Jason Bourne, and he didn't flag the system.
I'm gonna tell you a little story. Cattle, beef, food. A lot of people don't know anything about where it comes from. So, I owned a restaurant for 10 years. Miraculous, I know. I started it with $30 in the bank and a month's worth of food stamps. I don't recommend that business model just for all you entrepreneurs. When it comes to your beef, grass-fed, organic, 99% of it is bull. I have my restaurant, sourced everything locally in North Carolina. The biggest organic, grass-fed, supposed like best company in Asheville is called Hickory Nut Gap. I went to a party that we catered for one of my cheese purveyors, local goat cheese. Great times. We cooked like 300 ears of corn and we were all on mushrooms. I never bought the Hickory Nut Gap meat because it was 10 times the cost of any other beef. I ran into the owner of this company. He was drunk. Their farm's way up in the mountains, and I've driven by it many times, and there was never any animals out there, a couple goats. I asked him, "Hey man, where do y'all keep the cows at?" "Well, we don't have any cows." "How do you sell all this meat?" He said, "There's a loophole in the laws in North Carolina, probably most states, to get certified organic grass-fed cow. It has to eat grass for 6 weeks. So what they do is they buy cattle from like New Mexico, from desert food lots, where they're standing 2 feet deep in their own shit. They're eating like corn powder with biotics and all kinds of shit in it. Super unnatural. They're packed in like sardines, dude. I've seen those kind of farms. It's nuts. They buy those cow at auction, super cheap, skinny cows, and then they transport them to whatever state. They stick them on grass in a barn with hay for 6 weeks, and technically it's a local, certified, organic, grass-fed cattle. That will blow your mind. Process that. All your organics and all that's all bull.
Unless you raise it or grow it, you have no idea what you're eating these days.
The USA, the UK, all of these European countries, they are corporations. The CIA is created and owned by MI6. So basically, every branch of the military, every branch of the banking industry, every branch of the church and most mainstream religions, every branch of the entertainment industry, all operates under one single organization. That's why we say we're already in a new world order. There's already one reptilian government that is running the affairs of this world. It's just an illusion that there's many countries with many heads. They can issue any command and all these countries will stand in line. The real agenda is total domination and control over humanity. But the way they have done that is that they need to do certain satanic rituals and black magic to control humanity so that we remain subdued. And to be very honest, they've done an amazing job because humanity is more numb than any species I've ever encountered. So they've been successful in brainwashing us through the media, in fluoridating our water and making us compliant, in completely lowering our frequency by constantly bombarding us 24/7 with war news, with new outbreaks of certain diseases kind of news, all kinds of fears being pumped in so that we remain in a lower frequency. And we beg these politicians, we beg these bankers, we beg these leaders to somehow help us and solve all of our problems. So they create the problems and then they create the solution.
Are we all under a spell?
The reason Adam and Eve were not allowed to know of good and evil is because the being who told them this, the being that we are canonically told to believe is God, is not actually God. It is a celestial named Yahweh, a very jealous, violent, and war-obsessed celestial with an ego bigger than Mount Everest, who only has control over the material world. And if we were to know about the knowledge of right and wrong, good and evil, we start seeking, we start ascending, we start advancing, and we start becoming like the celestials, which is what he does not want. He does not want competition, so he tried to keep Adam and Eve complicit. Lucifer is not the villain, he is the hero. Lucifer is the liberator, Yahweh is the oppressor.
Are we claiming no negative energy? Or what if? I have a guess, guys.
New York is not a real place. Bro just pulled out 2 birds from his pocket and hit the remote on the love seat and skirted. Pew!
They probably took his license, but he's still driving.
I actually have an answer for this. I'm not gonna say any names because that would just be mean. But I did work on a Western years ago, and somebody was quote unquote in character the whole time, and it was something. It was quite something on set to just that waft coming in every
just
day.
been rolling around in horse manure just to really get into the character.
They just weren't washing, and the nails, and
Casey Affleck, he goes there.
No, it wasn't
Casey.
It wasn't Casey. No.
How long were you shooting for? How long did they go without showering?
That I was there for 2 months,
Oh my gosh.
But they were really committed. And they had, not too many descriptive details. I'll give it away. But this gentleman's wife came, and she, they were very in love, and
wow,
they were total. She didn't care.
Government now wants you to know one truth, and that truth is that UFOs are real. They've already done told you. Sometimes when you want somebody to know a truth, it's so you can set them up to believe a lie. And that's coming. I have zero doubt. That lie is coming. What is the lie? Specifically, you want me to say it right now, for real? Real? On camera? To be put in the show? Yes. Okay. Problem with that. If we tell the lie before it's told, they can adapt. That wouldn't be wise. I'll tell you privately, but I would really think about if you want to put this in your show. For real. That's a real thing I'm telling you. So will you think about it before putting it in your show? Absolutely. Okay. So UFOs are real, and they've been here a long time, and that's the truth. But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from. I know specifically what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. A classified document. That is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. That's the lie. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I sent you 2 texts today with a year. Not from me. Nope. I'm not going to propagate that lie. Not going to be part of it. Not going to say it to the camera. Everybody knows. Just start paying attention. And they'll change the date, especially if they see this. Things will change.
because maybe I'm trustworthy, maybe I'm worthy of your trust, maybe I've told you the truth the whole way through it, now you can verify it. If that's the case, then I'm fucking dangerous. You've been told the truth about UFOs for a long time now. It's been pretty orchestrated, it's been pretty clear, and it's using people that are telling the truth and want to tell the truth. Ultimately, they want you to know something. They want you to know UFOs are real. Thank God we're finally there. We're all there now. They want you to know the truth. But why they want you to know that truth now? I hope I'm wrong, but it's terrifying. Think about it. Maybe it's good to get ahead of it. Call it out now before they do it. I'll be called crazy. That's okay.
He said so much and yet said nothing at all.
Most people never question, why do Catholic priests wear black robes? Kids that graduate from high school wear black robes. Judges wear black robes. Rabbis wear black robes because black robes represent the planet Saturn. They're a symbol for the planet Saturn. Saturn was called by the ancient people Lord of the Rings, and Saturn is Lord of the Rings. This is why women were told in the ancient world to listen to their god, and the concept was they would wear an ear ring. Men were to get married before their gods. They wear a wedding ring because the old ancient god of the Middle East, one of the ancient gods of the Middle East, was the planet Saturn. Saturn was directly connected to Yahweh, the Hebrew God. And so this is why even today the Jews celebrate the worship of Saturn. Saturn in the old Phoenician language was called Shabbath. Look up in the Phoenician language, you will find that the planet Saturn was called Shabbath. And his worship to honor him once a week was called Sabbath. So when the Jews are having Sabbath, they're actually paying homage to their god Saturn, Lord of the Rings.
And what else is behind Saturn?
So there's this physicist, his name is Miguel Alcubierre, and he conceived the calculations for a theoretical ship that could travel faster than the speed of light.
That a human being could sit inside of?
Right, yes. It's a theoretical thing, but he's apparently figured out the equations to make it successful.
Okay.
This is where it gets tripped, because physics say you can't travel faster than the speed of light, but this ship, it stays still. In the universe, the cosmos travels past it. It doesn't move, and the cosmos move around it. It creates its own space-time bubble, doesn't defy the laws of physics, so it would be like a gravitational wave-making machine that compresses the ocean of space-time in front of it and expands that ocean in its weight. So it's just basically just like sitting still, and the cosmos are just going. With this equation, they said that you can travel 6 trillion miles in the blink of an eye, because the cosmos, the universe, galaxies are moving that fast.
6 trillion miles.
Are we sure he did any math on this, or he just used his imagination and said?
Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about, so it has to be somewhat legit.
And that will explain a lot of things.
Can you tell us why did you buy that?
This Bible, I bought it in an antique store. It's from roughly, I think, 1825 or 1836, between that area. And the first thing about this Bible that I noticed was the first page. This is a map of Palestine. It's a map of Palestine, not Israel, which is very, very interesting. Also what's very interesting is I perused, the verses. One of my favorite verses is Matthew 7, verses 21 through 23. And some of the verses were gone. They're just not there anymore. I looked for them, and they're just not there.
What are these verses all about?
This verse is about Matthew 7, verses 21. Many will say to me on that, and this is Jesus talking, and this is another huge point about Christianity, and this is Jesus speaking. Many will say unto me on that day, Lord, Lord, calling him God. Jesus speaking, Lord, Lord, we used to pray in your name, in the name of Jesus. We used to work miracles in your name, and we used to cast out demons in your name, in the name of Jesus, not God. What does Jesus say? Get away from me, you evildoers, you lawless people, you workers of iniquity. Get away from me. This is Jesus on the day of judgment, disowning his own people. Why? Because they didn't worship God. They did everything in the name of Jesus.
And we need to ask Wes.
They're not making it. They're breaking up because of the movie.
Her and who?
Channing Tatum.
Because of the movie.
Yeah, well, you know, he's the one that played the Diddy character in the movie.
I've turned under my nails and I don't know how I got there.
Are you having a good time?
Why does he have an issue with the movie? Is he
Probably because he did too good a job.
What are we gonna do about you?
And probably because he doesn't like the scrutiny that he's getting in the media, and considering he's attended his own Diddy parties.
Interesting.
There might be some guilt.
Right.
And you know what? They're not gonna let him forget it. She was definitely coached by her parents. And I can see why it would be so special, because there are rumors that during the Cosby years, Lisa Bonet was... No one ever talks about that.
Do you think Blink Twice was inspired by Diddy parties and what happens at Jeffrey Epstein's island?
Oh, absolutely.
And go watch it. He played it too well.
Today I'ma wake up a new man, driving a new road, develop a new plan. I'll never be blue, man, whatever the view, man. Go to a new beach, give me a new tan. I'ma write down every single thought. Like goals on my wall, I win, I never fall. I've been gone for a minute, yeah, had to be free. You want it, I got it, so tell me what you need. I'm unchained, unfazed, and unwilling. It's a new day, new world, we all winning. I'm up late, up early, I gotta get it. Keep working, now we gotta make a million. Go get it, you got it, I see you. Go get it, you got it, I see you. Go get it, you got it, I see you. Go get it, you got it, I see you. Go get it, you got it, I see you. Go get it, you got it, I see you. I know you could do it. All you gotta do is put your mind to it. Wake up, I'm on to the next. New day, I gotta do my best. Every day I put the work in. The grind never stop, you ain't never see me rest. See me on top, I never fall. I speak my truth and turn it to law. Do it for the drive, you know it's really my passion. Never gonna stop me, really, I'll make it happen.
18 with the bags is crazy work.
I'm talking about the programming that is happening more on the etheric level, that we're being programmed by spirit and the wonderful beings that are helping us with our evolution, and we're being programmed by these on a causal and an astral and etheric level. And science just can't trace that yet. We know that right now we are developing hybrid beings like the polar bear and the grizzly bear in Canada have now mated to make a fertile hybrid. This happens so easily in nature. Why can't we embrace the fact that we also have been influenced by many different evolutions, which are well known in our myths?
They're prepping us for something big.
And every conversation we're having about evacuations, that depopulation conversation is continuously coming up. That depopulation conversation is continuously coming up.
You've heard that. Depopulation. What's the end game?
I tracked Danny down within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, called him and said, "Hey, dude, I'm going to fly you to my house. I need you to tell me all about this. I want to know everything that you know." It's just fascinating to me.
What were you looking for, like when you were watching the videos of him talking about it? Like, because you're obviously you're trying to sniff out bullshit, right? So, like, what specifically are you paying attention to when you watch those videos and listen to people talking?
The first thing would be performance. Am I seeing performative behavior? Someone over-exaggerating a reaction to what they're seeing on the wall. Someone zooming in the camera a little bit too much and not trying to get an authentic shot of what's going on. Any kind of over-exaggeration and them trying to over-explain it to the camera, what they're seeing, and no one tried to explain it. They were just awestruck. They didn't try to say, oh, here's exactly what I'm seeing right away. They had that pause of awe, just being in awe for a few seconds. That's what did it for me. And then the humility of Danny's just super humble, good dude.
Yeah.
And that comes through. That's why you don't have to be a profiler for that. You get a gut feeling, like when we get those gut feelings about people, those gut feelings are produced by who that person is when we're not looking. Gut feelings are not produced by the behavior in the moment. It's produced by their behavior in the moment being incongruent with who they are off camera or when nobody's looking.
Right. That's what they call it, gut second brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think's going on there in that laser? You think it's ripping a hole in the matrix? You got any ideas? You got any theories?
I have no
What's
idea. your
gut tell you?
Well, the gut says that we're seeing something that our bodies were not meant to or not designed to. Like we didn't evolve to see.
And we're not supposed to know. We're in a simulation.
I was an undercover CIA officer for over 25 years. We liked the idea of stunt double masks. They're quick on, they're quick off. They dramatically change your appearance. And we started using them and found them to be valuable to our operations. So we went back to our disguise labs out at Langley, and we invented a whole new genre of masks. Masks that are so good, that are so realistic, that you can actually get up close and have a personal contact with someone for an extended period of time. I said the stunt double mask came off quickly. So did our new masks. On and off like a hat. Those masks were the beginning of a whole new generation of work that we did at the CIA. Once we could make these masks that fit you so well, then we discovered we could make a twin. We could make another you. There could be two of you. We could actually make 5 or 6 of you.
So the question now, who was the president for the past 4 years?
China's got the best map of the moon, and they did send a probe to the other side. So China is looking at the other side. One thing that I like to point out about the moon, 209 moons in the solar system. If you went and looked at all the moons around every planet, because some of them have multiple ones, so there are a bunch of them. None of them, as would be expected mathematically, perfectly occlude the sun. They do not have eclipses.
Do we know that for a fact?
Yeah, because you know the size of the object. So you know if you're on Jupiter and you measure Callisto, a moon of Jupiter, that's pretty easy to figure out. You know, that thing is that size. Would it cover the sun perfectly? And mathematically, just think about it. What's the likelihood of one object that's in front of you, between you and another object, being perfectly matching it? In other words, and this is what causes it, the moon is 1/400th the diameter of the sun. So you stretch out 400 moons, you'd have the diameter of the sun. But the sun is 400 times further away.
Talk about hitting the lottery.
Exactly, Danny. Exactly. The likelihood of any one object doing that, it's much more likely it's going to be a tad bigger, a tad smaller, a shitload bigger, a shitload smaller. But ours, for whatever reason, and it also always faces us, that's not always the case either. But I don't think it's the case in any of them. We've got an unusual moon.
Is the moon or a spaceship? Fake or just extra crispy? And that's a wrap on this episode, fool. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me. Smash that subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.